This is the RV Advisor Podcast with your host, Tom Alexander. Get all the latest information, trends, advice from experts, stories from the road, and more in the world of recreational vehicles. Now, here's Tom.
Welcome, everybody, to the RV Advisor Podcast. My name is Tom Alexander, and today I'm joined by the traveling opera singers. They are Sara Duchovany and Clay Hilley, a married couple, and currently in Orlando, Florida. That's where they are at this time. Like I said, they are traveling, and they travel in an RV. Welcome, folks.
Thanks so much for having us.
Hello.
Yeah, it's great to have you. And boy, this is really interesting. I got to say, it's a first for us on the show. A lot of firsts on today's show, actually, as we're simulcasting as well. But so you guys are experiment here, so bear with us. But we're really looking forward to learning more about this. I mean, this is really, really interesting. You started as opera singers, as trainers, you met each other, and now here you are on the road, traveling around the country, performing, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We started this in 2017 and have been pretty much full-timers ever since.
Now, Clay, I understand that you kind of grew up around RVing, mobile homes. Your folks are no strangers to that. Is that right?
I did. I had the privilege of growing up with around RVers, not in the immediate family, but both sets of grandparents. So paternal grandparents were the travel trailer fifth wheel style, and then my maternal grandparents had Coachman, I think 1977, 1978, Class A. And I had a bunch of cousins, and my grandparents were very brave and very energetic. They were, in their late 50s, early 60s, and they would take all 9 grandkids, ranging from ages we're talking 2.5 to 16, all to Myrtle Beach from the Athens area in Georgia. And yeah, we had pretty wild summers, and it was always very fun. And again, like I said, I benefited from both sides of the family. Having the RV, so I knew what was involved. I knew, kind of the what's the word? The restraint, the constraints, the faith and whatnot. But these RV designers do as much as they possibly can with what space they have.
Right, gotcha. And so is Athens home for you? Is that where you're originally from, Athens, Georgia?
Small little town called Statham, Statham, right beside Athens, about 10 miles away. But I went to high school in Athens, and I went to the University of Georgia.
Right.
So I just, Athens is just the easy one to say.
Yeah, sure. It's
hometown. But then when people ask specifically, I'll say my actual. So.
Yeah. And of course, Sara, we talked a little bit off air, and you're from Bryn Mawr. For folks that don't know where that is, it's near Philadelphia, and that's not too far from my old stomping grounds in the Poconos. And fun town, Bryn Mawr.
Yeah, it was a nice place to grow up. I had absolutely no experience with campers or RVs, but I had gotten really into watching the tiny home videos. Mm-hmm. So when we had this idea to maybe start living on the road and pull our home with us, I was open to it because I had been watching tiny homes, but my family didn't understand it at all. And it was a good year of them constantly asking, "Are you all right? Are you sure this is something you want to do?" And when they finally came to see our fifth wheel, they were shocked. And I think that they imagined that we were living in a van or
all of our colleagues assume when we tell them about our life that they're visualized a VW van from the 60s,
Yeah, right.
They don't understand that we have, a giant 38-foot fifth wheel.
Yeah, oh, that's nice.
This is the home.
That's nice, and yeah, it's not like a movie from the late 60s or early 70s where people are going cross country. It's a little more advanced than that, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I understand that not too long ago you teamed up for Pagliacci. Is that true? I believe in Virginia somewhere.
Roanoke.
Yeah.
In Roanoke.
It was recent. Very
recent.
It
was this fall.
It was September of 19.
Oh, great.
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 Opera singers are independent contractors.
Uh-huh.
So all of our gigs are, just for the length of the production, and it's kind of a rare and wonderful thing when the two of us get to work together. So this was one of those magical experiences. We pulled our camper to the Roanoke area and camped in this great place called Dixie Caverns,
Uh-huh.
Dixie Caverns, which doesn't really look like much from the outside. You just, it's like a kind of dirt RV park.
Mm-hmm.
But then you enter these underground caverns, which were discovered in the 1920s, I want to say.
Something like that.
Yeah.
1920s, and you'd never know. Yeah, like she said, you would never know just like driving by it. I mean, of course, a giant sign says caverns. And, was this just some little alcove where there's like 2 stalactites or something like that, and like one for rock formation? But it's a whole world underneath. It's so cool.
Wow.
We arrived in the area, the Roanoke area, about a week before rehearsal, so we were able to just sort of have a little brief vacation and see some of the things before we got down to the business of music making.
Sure. Yeah, and it's fun to be able to explore the places you're going to play. I'm a musician myself. I have a jazz band, and I grew up listening to classical music. My dad loved it, so I have a little bit of knowledge of some opera. I was more listening to a lot of the orchestral stuff, Mozart and Tchaikovsky and that kind of stuff, so I'm not unaware of it. And recently saw a beautiful performance here in South Florida of La Boheme, and it was tremendous. Yeah, so I really appreciate where you guys are coming from, and it's funny because probably a lot of people are in the RV community, and there's that sort of you kind of pigeonhole them into wondering, I'm going to listen to my country music and go cross country, and I'm not saying that that's not the case, but I guarantee you that there are some opera lovers out there in the RV community, right?
Yes.
It's impossible given the let's just say the demographic, the age demographic of RVers. Then I think it's fair to say that there's got to be many opera lovers in their various rigs spread across our great nation.
And we have been known to listen to a lot of country music as we drive across the country.
Oh yeah,
so.
we don't sit around and listen to opera really. We
like
we
it all.
either listen to nothing, or we listen to like podcasts, or we listen to comedy, or we listen to country.
Right.
Classic rock or whatever.
Yeah, sure. So you're getting you're getting it all. That's great. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these words.
You're listening to the RV Advisor Podcast.
RV owners, it's no secret that those manufacturers' warranties just don't cut it. Get the peace of mind you deserve and step up to the RV Advisor Extended RV Warranty Plan. No covered claim is ever denied with low to no deductibles. To learn more, visit thervadvisor.com or call 833-229-0911. That's 833-229-0911. We're back on the RV Advisor Podcast. My name's Tom Alexander, and my guests are the traveling opera singers. They're Sara Duchovany and Clay Hilley. And Sara, we just heard a beautiful rendition of the George Gershwin classic, Someone to Watch Over Me. You singing it with a piano player accompaniment, and it was beautiful. And so popular music as well, going back to the 30s or even maybe more contemporary music is also part of your repertoire, right?
Yeah, I would say that, American Songbook, Gershwin, like you just heard, is probably as close to pop as I get.
Yeah.
And that for me is, of course I'm singing with operatic technique and, I'm singing it as an opera singer, but it's not really to the, operatic stylistic extent that most of my other rep is.
Yeah.
However, it's really important to have things like that in your back pocket for, events and, cocktail parties that opera companies have to kind of draw people into the art form. And I think hearing opera singers sing things in English repertoire that people have grown up with, that they're familiar with, kind of invites people to want to hear more. So I always have something like that on my website or just ready to go for some kind of outreach event because, I think that a lot of people are a little bit intimidated by opera, but once they realize, what it is like to hear a live classical singer, they might be tempted to get more into it and, kind of push their boundaries.
Yeah, and it seems too that you mentioned that you said the word intimidation, and I think maybe what might sort of frighten certain folks, saying, well, I don't speak Italian, I don't speak German. There's obviously French operas too. And, not a ton written in English. There are some in English, but most of them are Italian and German, right? So it's sort of like, well, I got to get past that hurdle. Do you notice that, though, that there's more of people coming around to it and saying, you know what? Yeah, let me go hear this.
Yeah, well, what I will say and what I always tell people is that, today when we watch television, there are so many shows that already rely on translations and supertitles.
Yeah.
So we were just watching a show on Netflix that has, at least 5 different languages being spoken in the show, and you're reading along with the subtitles, and after a while you forget that you're reading. You're involved in the drama, you are reading, you're reading the words in the translation, but you're also watching how the characters are relating to each other, and you kind of forget that they're speaking in a different language. And opera is the same way, because the translations are always projected onto a screen, above or below the stage or on the back of your seat. And people are acting, and you know what's happening because you're seeing the way they're relating.
But it's even easier in the case of opera than it is for watching Netflix or whatever with your closed captions on, because there's so much repeated text in opera. It's like nothing. Dialogue goes by so much faster than song lyrics. I mean, that's sort of common sense. But in the style in opera, there's just so much that gets repeated just to show the beauty of the voice, or like to heighten the drama, or to so the orchestra can do something really cool or whatever. So you look up and you read like a 5-word sentence. I mean, that might be all you need to know for the next 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Like you've got a 5-word sentence, you're clear, and now you can look back and just enjoy the music, enjoy like Sarah was saying, just the interaction between whoever's singing to whomever else,
Yeah.
So it's not one needn't to be intimidated. It's not, it was maybe cutting edge technology in the 70s and 80s, but now low budget opera companies have figured out ways to because they just know you're not going to get a new crowd in 2020 in your doors if they can't understand what's going on. I mean, a synopsis is no longer good enough. Having a libretto, that's how it used to be done before supertitles to say the Metropolitan Opera. They would just give you a copy of the whole libretto, the whole script, and people would sit there with it in their lap, and they would look up and look down. And none of that anymore. And like I said, with PowerPoint, I'm sure someone can figure out how to cast a smartphone. I mean, supertitles are not.
Sure.
It's not difficult technology.
Yeah, no, the technology is really making it a lot easier for people to kind of consume and understand and experience and really enjoy. Our guests are Sara Duchovany and Clay Hilley. They're the traveling opera singers and a married couple. What year did you guys get married?
We got married this year in June.
2019.
Yeah.
2019. Got it. Wow. So just a little over, about 7 months now. Well,
Yeah.
congrats. So a newlywed couple, congratulations. And yeah, it's great. And so let me
Valentine's Day will be our 7th-month anniversary.
Oh.
We are made on the 14th of June, so that makes Valentine's Day our 7th month.
Oh wow! Okay, so that's coming. That's coming up next Friday. That's terrific. So, let me ask you this. You both. Now, you said that in Roanoke, you had the good fortune of coming together to sing and perform together in a show. But my guess is that's not a common occurrence. You're both doing different things. And how, man, I can't even think about how the logistics work and coordinating the schedule and the travel. And Sarah's singing here one place and Clay is singing here another. It's like, how does that, who, what, why, where, how? It's all it's crazy.
We don't know our schedule all that far in advance. And I don't know. It's like, I guess with so many things in life, and until you're forced to focus your mind on it, you really are overwhelmed by it. But I guess I would just say I just open up a calendar and be like, well, if I got to be here by this date, is this a gig that we can have the fifth wheel or not? Yes, I think we can. Okay, well then let me go ahead and jump on what's my app, the All Stays app, which I'm sure everyone listening now has. I jump on it. I'm like, okay, what's in the area as far as the campgrounds? I'll start calling about vacancies and. If it's something I can reserve a year in advance or something, that's nice. But sometimes things come up at the last second. I mean, coming back from Roanoke, coming back down off the mountain, I blew my hose. We have an F-350 that we pulled the camper with, and I blew. Again, pardon my lack of technical terminology here, but the hose that connects my turbo diesel. I had no thrust. I had no power. I wasn't overheating, and I wasn't, but my RPMs were through the roof, and I was I had no power, and so I was still under warranty on my truck. It was 2015, and anyway, after we got that fixed, we were breathing a sigh of relief. We're almost back to Georgia. I'm like, okay, well, we got 2 weeks that we can just chill out, and then we got to put the camper in storage, go to a gig in Chicago, then go to one in New York City before we can finally come back in late January, February, aka now. We get camper. So I'm looking forward to these 2 weeks that we have off. And my phone rings. It's my agent calling from New York saying, "Hey, there is a last minute thing we need you for in Boston. Could you be on a flight tomorrow?" I'm like, "What city am I near?" "Yeah, sure. Put me on a plane in Greenville. I'll set up the camper." We set up at the KOA in Gaffney, South Carolina, long enough for me to just get it set up, and then I just ran to the airport in Greenville, flew up to Boston, and then they had to release me to come back to Georgia. After the show had opened that I was helping on, I flew back to Greenville, took the camper all the way the rest of the distance over to Athens to get it in storage. Then I jumped on a plane in Atlanta and went back to Boston. Then from Boston over to Chicago. But the apartment had already been rented in Chicago and New York because I had known for about a year that I wasn't going to be able to logistically have the camper there. However, listeners might be fascinated to learn, we did do a gig once in New York City from the fifth wheel, and we had the thing 3.5 months, if that much. This was New Year's of 2018. I braved the elements to do a gig in New York City in January, February of 2018 from the camper, and we parked at Liberty Harbor RV Park. Maybe some listeners have been there. Traveled, dropped in for a day or two. Not like us, where we set up for 2 months.
We were the only people in that park. All of our
longer than 3 days.
The bomb cyclone hit. All of our
pros.
It was an adventure.
They didn't even have individual plumb. It didn't have plumbing at that time of year because of freezing damages to fend off those potential damages, but they also did not have individual sewer tanks at each site. They only had one dump station. So we had to buy what Sarah likes to call the
poop suitcase.
The poop suitcase. We bought the suitcase where you empty your black tank.
Yeah.
And I was regularly taking care of the plumbing. We also had to fill up our we'd have to run 3 or 4 hoses linked together over to the fresh water supply to fill up our fresh tank, so we would have enough water for 2 days.
Sure.
Yeah. But every 2 days, but it couldn't be freezing because I had not purchased an insulated hose yet. And again, it was only hooked up. It wasn't like a permanent hookup. It was, just for long enough for us to fill it up.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was a crazy one.
Yeah. Don't forget to hydrate, folks, because you got to keep those beautiful pipes, working. The voice at optimum level, right?
We probably use more water than most people.
Yeah.
For that reason.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So we want to wrap up really quickly and just let folks know where they can find you and follow you, Sara Duchovany and Clay Hilley. So tell the folks where they can go.
Okay. So my website is saraduchovany.com. That's SaraDuchovany.com. And on Instagram, I am at Glamperous, Glamperous Diva. So that's, Glamperous. So
got it. Glamperous Diva. Gotcha.
And then Clay.
And my website is www.clayhilleytenor.com. ClayHilleytenor.com. And my Instagram is
Clay Hilley.
At Clay Hilley.
All right.
I'll let my dear wife manage that. I'm not quite savvy with Instagram. But anyway.
I got you. Well, every couple has, you got to, delegate certain responsibilities, right? You kind of have to know, at least that's what I hear. I've only been married 32 years, so, I'll figure that out. But, well, listen, folks, it's been...
What we've decided...
Yeah.
What is the thing that keeps us together is not the love that we have for each other, which is great and immense. And it's not, similarities in a lot of key areas in life. It's just the fact that I like to do dishes and she likes to do laundry, and she hates dishes and I hate laundry. So what couple can't weather every storm with that being the case?
Wow. No, you got it all figured out. Listen, after your opera days are over, you can give marriage advice, That'd be that'd be great. So listen, folks, thanks.
We're experts.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. We really, really appreciate it. Again, Sara Duchovany and Clay Hilley are the traveling opera singers. They joined us today from Orlando, Florida, right here on the RV Advisor Podcast. Back in a moment. The most experienced RV traveler knows it's important to expect the unexpected. Trust the RV Advisor Roadside Assistance Plan, starting at just $99 per year. It's the industry's most affordable plan and offers the most value compared to competitors, covering RVs, towed vehicles, personal vehicles, horse trailers, bike trailers, and more. Visit thervadvisor.com or call 833-229-0911. The RV Advisor Roadside Assistance Plan. Don't hit the road without it. My name's Tom Alexander. This is the RV Advisor Podcast. We thank you for listening. So long, everybody.
You've been listening to the RV Advisor Podcast with Tom Alexander. This podcast is produced in association with Studio Alpha and Alexander Productions in Miami. Visit thervadvisor.com for more.